Hello there everyone, on Magic Girls Explained we'll be talking about Kanoko Yayoi. Now let's get started. Kanoko Yayoi is a 16-year-old magical girl. She is 160 centimeters in height. Her eye color is dark green, while her hair color is brown. Kanoko comes from Kosha Ward in Kamihama City. Her soul gem is a dark green gem in the shape of a needle, tethered located on her neck as a choker. Her weapon is a sword, resembles a giant sewing needle. Kanoko, at the time of this explained video, does not have a witch or Doppel. Her known relatives are her unnamed mother and father, and she attends school at Mizuna Girls' School in the 10th grade. Kanoko's wish was that her mom and dad can work for at least 30 more years. Exact wording is explained in her side story. I want my parents to be able to work for 30 more years. Kanoko Yayoi's magical girl element is the dark element, and her ability is sewing. To sew anything with thread. A magical girl who wants to become a fashion designer, the only child of that runs a sheet metal plant. Her parents' expectations that she will take over the business stress her out. Although she gets strange looks, she is always serious. Kanoko, having been offered a contract by Kibei, struggles to decide what her wish is. After watching her video, Kibei asked Kanoko so quickly believed he could grant her a wish. Kanoko says it's because she wanted to believe him. When Kibei asks why, Kanoko says she has a dream to become a fashion designer. Kibei offers to grant that wish, but Kanoko doesn't want to that fast track it. Kanoko says she wants to be a fashion designer with her own ability, but admits there's no obstacle preventing it from happening. Kibei offers to come back later, but Kanoko says she thinks that if he leaves, he'll never come back. Kibei says he won't, but Kanoko says she's the sort of person who follows her instincts. Kanoko explains to Kibei that her household runs a small factory, which she calls a backstreet workshop. Only have a handful of employees, but get work from large companies. Kanoko's parents want her to take over the factory when she grows up, but Kanoko wants to follow her own dreams. She tells Kibei she helps in the factory all the time, and her father wants her to make a full-time employee when she finishes high school. Kanoko says she wants to study fashion and establish herself as a designer instead. Kibei says that she'll have to abandon the factory, but Kanoko says she can't do that either. Kibei says he doesn't understand humans. Kanoko thinks and gets an idea. She decides her wish will be, my father and my mother, please let them work happily for another 30 years. Kanoko says that she'll have time to pursue her own dream and take over the factory later. Kibei is confused but grants her wish. Kanoko instantly apologizes to her parents and asks them to be happy with her selfish wish and to give her a little more time. Afterwards, Kyoko talks to her parents. While they are furious that she doesn't want to work at the factory, she is able to pursue them into letting her do what she wants. In order to perform her designing ability, Kanoko joins her school's art club. Kanoko tries to draw a bowl of fruit, but the club members think it looks like a universe, with an apple as a black hole. Kanoko resigns from the club, thinking that their senses are too different. Kanoko then decides to improve her own and creates countless clothing designs. She decides she needs to show them to someone to get the option on them. Kanoko chooses Rena Ami, a student at her school that works as a model. Kanoko thinks that Rena is not only knowledgeable about fashion, but can also help her get connections to people in the fashion industry. Kanoko introduces herself to Rina and shows off her designs. Kanoko thinks Rina's expression was unbearable for a moment. Rina tactfully says that Kanoko's designs are unique and points out an outfit that she hands sprouting out at the back. Kanoko says they're supposed to be Summery mushrooms. Rina says she can't put a value on the designs. Kanoko then decides to head to Summery Educational Academy to show her designs to Nanaka Toka. Kanoko says Nanaka is from a family that runs a flower arranging school and is reputed to have brains and looks. Arriving at Nanaka's school, Kanoko introduces herself and shows her designs. Nanaka looks over Kanoko's designs and says she thinks she understands. She also thinks the mushroom's outfit is supposed to be hands growing out of the back. Nanaka announces that the world will never catch up with Kanoko's clothing. Kanoko says she must be on a gigantic level. Nanaka agrees and says humanity may gasp in it 1,000 years. She suggests that Kanoko should take a spaceship and look for aliens and can properly understand her designs. She also suggests the trip will be one way. Completely missing Nanaka's suitable insult, Kanoko decides the world is too narrow for her. She decides she would show her designs to an ordinary person, thinking she might learn something. She decides to ask random people about her designs. The first person she calls out are Momoko Togame, Kane Akino, and Rena Minami. Upon seeing the designs, Momoko hems and haws and asks Kaede what she thinks. Kaede says Momoko is being unfamiliar. Rena then says that the designs are simply awful and saying that they can't even be used as a monster's costume. She does recognize the mushrooms as mushrooms, however. Rena berates Kanoko's designs for 30 minutes. Crushed by Rena's criticism, Kanoko thinks she'll only be able to make clothing for people with a high level of fashion sense. Kyubei appears and says Kanoko needs to fulfill her magical girl duties. Kanoko says she'll get to it, but feels her heart is in tatters. Kanoko spent several days dressed over at Rena's words. Girl asked her for a favor. She says the art club wants to open a workshop for a downtown festival and asks Kanoko if she can lecture on accessories. She says that Kanoko is good at handwork. Kanoko agrees, thinking she might find a way to solve her problems. At the festival, Kanoko uses a brass ring for her lecture. She narrates that she learned crafts from her father since she was a child, yet she had set them aside for her pursuit of fashion. Kanoko can't help but cry during the lecture. Suddenly, she sees Kaede in the audience. Kaede is with her two friends, Kako Natsume and Emir Katsuki. Kaede recognizes Kanoko and Emir asks Kane to introduce them. Kanoko wonders if this is the sign. Kane explains what happened to the other girls, but leaves some parts vague. Emir asks if she could see the clothing designs. Kanoko thinks Emir is too similar to Rena, but ultimately decides to face her fears and show the designs. Emir says the designs are weird and hilarious. She also says the designs are actually exciting. Kanoko is relieved, however. Emir says the mushroom costume is gross. Emir suggests that Kanoko's designs need some accessories. With Kanoko seeing Emir's examples, she gets in a blast of inspiration. Kanoko declares she can fuse her fashion with the material processing techniques and factory work she learned. Kanoko thanks Emir's persuasivity and thanks her parents for helping her find the idea. Kanoko thinks she'll create a line of clothing called Yayoi style, and her material clothes will take the world by storm. She imagines it have an effect on the fashion world that will even extend a culinary arts, and it will benefit her family's factory. Kanoko's material announcements that with her spaceship design, she will really reach the stars. Kyubey then calls Kanoko's name, causing her to return from her doubts. It turns out Kanoko hasn't even made her wish yet, and she is still talking to Kyubey in her room. Kyubey says Kanoko was mumbling to herself with her eyes closed and asks if she decided on a wish. Kanoko says that she has decided, and she's already imagined it all in way to the end. In other words, the entire side story only happened in Kanoko's mind. However, it appears her wish is the one she imagined making. Kanoko says her image training was perfect, and that it's time to shock the world. In Mommy's side story, Kanoko says her ability is sewing. She says she can sew two enemies together. As shown in chapter 10, Kanoko is capable of creating large needles and to pull threads of great length. Fact 1. Her illustrator is Purpurin. Kanoko's VA is Ai Kakuma, who coincidentally happened to mention her in one of my Genshin Impact information on Rosaria at the same time I'm writing Kanoko's script. So yeah, but yes, you may know her for playing Rosaria from Genshin Impact, and also Melissa the Venals from Magical Court 2. But in anime, you may know her for voicing characters such as Noelle Adoshiro in Naikatsu, Sana in Magi, the Kingdom of Magic, Shino in Naruto Shippuden, Mokomo in Demon Slayer, Rabiding in Healing Good Pretty Cure, and finally, Albus in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. The time of this, she does not have an English VA, nor has she appeared in the Magic Record anime with speaking role. And now we have come to the ending of Kanoko Yaoi's Explained. A little short since she didn't have a Doppel, but that's kind of what it's gonna be like when we make our way through to the side story Magical Girls. I am running out of information anymore, but anyways, see you next time guys, as we talk about cheering Magical Girl Natsuki Usoro. Goodbye.